Because you and I both know, we spoke about this time and time again. Max Holloway was up against it against Gaethje because he was bigger, he was more powerful, he was the guy that knocks people out, and Max went out there and knocked Gaethje out. So seeing that, I think it adds a completely different layer to the fight between him and Topuria, because generally Max is not considered a guy that puts you out with one punch. He's a guy that overwhelms you with volume. But by seeing him knock out Justin the way he did, it makes me go, man, this is much more interesting than people want it to be.
I say this time and time again. So much guys look past the guy that they're supposed to fight and they end up tripping. I ain't doing that with this guy. I worked my ass off to get back into this situation, so I'm not gonna do something dumb and oversee this guy and overlook this guy. And I can't wait. You know, this guy is his mouth is writing a lot of checks that his body might not be able to cash. So it's a beautiful thing. October 26th, we get to figure it all out.
Max has great takedown defense. If Max could stay on his bike and touch him from the outside, it would be very interesting to see what happens in the later round, because we haven't seen Topuria like exhausted, tired yet. In round 5 with Josh Emmett, he was in the driver's seat the whole time. But what happens if you could set a little fatigue in him having some failed takedown attempts, or even if he gets the takedowns and Max can get back up, it makes the fight very interesting where he starts to use up a lot more energy. If Max gets back to the old school Max, it's a very intriguing fight.
Because if you're going to tell me Topuria is going to beat him, I'm going to ask you a quick follow-up question, which is how? Yep. And that's where you run into the problem. I mean, if you're just going to go off of history and say, well, I've seen this within Max, and I've seen this within Topuria, and I think if they get there again, and that is what we do, that's exactly how we play that game. I don't know what you're going to say, but I have a feeling that it's going to be a boxing match, and you're telling me that you got a guy that can box Max Holloway when Jose Aldo wasn't able to do it. I'm not confident that Volkanovski ever did it, specifically with the boxing. I mean, it's one of these things where Brian Ortega couldn't do it. Yair Rodriguez couldn't do it. I mean, just going on and on.
Now, you know, there's a reason why the Triple C never really picked on Max Holloway. One, because he's tall as hell. And then 2, man, he's got grit, man. He's got grit like you wouldn't believe it. He won't stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. Think of what he was able to you know, take Gaethje, where Gaethje likes to take people to deep waters, what he was able to do. I mean, that says a lot about Max Holloway.
You're getting Max basically at something close to full power. Max is coming off of basically the crowning achievement of UFC 300 and maybe one of the better wins, if not the best win of his career. I mean, it wasn't for a weight class title, but just in terms of what it represented and how difficult it may have been, certainly an enormous win. So you're going to get as for a champion in Ilia Topuria, this is as thorough a test as it gets. It does not come more difficult than this. If you can beat Max Holloway, you can beat any other featherweight.
What makes me feel very excited about that fight is that no one could knock him out, and I'm like, there is no way I'm not gonna knock him out. I will be the first one to knock him out, because every time I watch him fight, I'm like, I'm way better than him. If you put me only with him in kickboxing or in boxing, even in a chess match, I beat him. Like, well, whatever you want to do, boy, I can beat you.
You know, there's so many guys that's outside the octagon or outside the ring when they're saying, oh, this, that, or whatever. You know how much guys said they could beat Floyd Mayweather until they got in there with him and they found out the hard way. So, you know, at the end of the day, we get to see, you know, I can say I'm the best boxer. He can believe it is. Whatever it is, October 26th, I get to go out there. I get to mix it up with him. I get to show him, you know. Maybe we can make another moment. Who knows, you know. I can't wait. I'm locked in. And I can't wait to go out there and do that thing.
But I look at Max Holloway, man. I don't see any part of him that's done. And I do think that people look at Max when they go to that little place in their mind as a veteran, as an old dog. He's not. He just got started really young. Max at one point was the youngest guy in the UFC. When he fought Conor McGregor, he was 20 years old. And people don't realize that. And that was in 2014. So Max really, for longevity of careers, at least by you and I standards, well, he's just right in the middle of things.
Max winning that fight, and that's just, Max is a great fighter. Ilia is too. I don't mean that in any disrespect to Ilia, but I think Max stylistically, he's got a great chin. That punch is a chance. That Ilia has is going to be very hard with someone like with Max.
When I see that kind of videos, like people giving their opinions and saying that Max is gonna knock me out or he's gonna win this match, I just realized that they don't know anything about the sport. They don't know anything. Or maybe they don't want to give me the credit about everything I have done in this sport and how good I am in reality.
Topuria is the type of guy who's got that one hitter quitter power, right? And Max Holloway, he's got that power, but he mostly beats guys with volume. Like he wears them down up until that point where he knocks them out. Just like the fight with Justin Gaethje, like they were beating each other up and he got caught. But I think Max Holloway is a very intelligent fighter. So I know he's got a game plan going into this. If he can touch him up and stay moving and prevent Topuria from sitting down on his punches, I think he's got a chance.
I mean, nobody can really get under my skin, bro. At the end of the day, I get to punch you in the face, kick you, hit you. I get to fight you, bro.
He has like 7 or 8 professional defeats. I had 0. I'm the champion. He's the challenger. So everything, it's on my side, I get everything to win this fight. So I will prove everyone wrong again, October 26th.
And so, at the end of the day, he's an odd dude. He's an odd fella, but hey, whatever get him going, whatever confidence he needs, I want the best Ilia. Go buy a couple more BMF belts, go buy a couple more, UFC belts, whatever you want to do. Just keep that same energy when it comes October 26th.
So as good as his hands are, against a guy like Max Holloway, you're gonna need a little bit more than that, because not even Gaethje at 5'11" could pretty much touch his chin. He's gonna have to do a lot of double fakes, which is something that Gaethje could have done to be able to kind of reach him, because Max is going back, and it's not boxing. Like these guys are an MMA fighting, like they're evading completely.
How well can Ilia track him down and land those big combination punches as if it is a boxing fight? And I think that's going to be the difference. When you got a guy who uses a lot of footwork, it's so much harder to land those strikes against him. I think we saw that in the Teofimo fight against the Ortiz guy that he just fought recently. If a guy's not engaging or he's being tough to track down, cut off, a guy who's got great footwork to get to them, it makes the fight a lot more difficult, no matter how heavy of a hitter you are.
We have a body of work of 7 minutes of Topuria versus Volk that you're dismissing Volk and telling me how much better Topuria is. And I'm asking, is that what you really saw? When you watched them fight, is that what you really saw? And if so, where? Where was Topuria better than Volk? If I ran, we rewind the last 30 seconds, you don't ever know that happened. Where was it that he was better?
With that said, enter Max Holloway. Great footwork, high guard, long punches. He has a shorter reach than Volkanovski, but his footwork is what helps him so much in his fights, and he's got great durability.
Dude, but Max comes out there and finds his range right away. You've seen how fights go like that. I know they're not probably Ilia's level, obviously, but he has the potential to make people look terrible.
Yeah, but Ilia and Max, this is as high level as it gets. It's going to be a sweet kickboxing fight, too. I don't think Ilia can grapple. Motherfucker can wrestle. I think it's going to be a sick kickboxing fight.
Yeah, I'm curious if Ilia is going to be able to track him down enough, cut him off enough to where he's going to be able to put Max on the fence and sit in the pocket and let go of his nasty combos.
It's going to be sick.
Or is Max going to be beautiful with his footwork and keep him at the end of his punches for the whole time?
Oh, I can't wait for this, because remember, Topuria was there when Max knocked out Gaethje, and you saw Topuria's face in the crowd.
He didn't look super excited.
That's what I'm saying. He looked like, oh man, I gotta fight this guy. He's like, I gotta fight this guy, and that's the way he looked. But he's not running from it. He didn't run from it. He signed on a contract. They are going to fight. It is going to happen.